Hey guys, Zomfox here, and today we're going to be talking about the 2024 Upper Deck UFL set and me giving my review of it. I did this last year with the USFL set, and I told you guys a couple videos ago that I was going to be doing that for this set as well. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more in a couple days, which you'll see then, but we want to talk about this set and exactly how good or bad is it. Now, this is the first real spring football set we have gotten since the 2020 XFL due to the 23 USFL set just being a box set. I mean, technically there was a preview set as well, but the preview set was also an EPAC exclusive. So let's just get right into it with the checklist for this set. Now, this set is online exclusive. It's the only way to buy it. Every card except the base and gold parallels are available to be had physically, and the parallels, naturally, all the regular parallels are the same as the checklist. Now, much better than the USFL checklist. We'll just get that right out of the way, right? Are there some names missing? Sure, but it's not like you're going to have to think of the top of your head, hey, a lot of these guys are really missing. Especially because a couple of them, like Adam Rodriguez, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't actually have a base card, but he is on one of the triples or duels, if I remember correctly. It's like pretty weird that he's on one of them, but aside from him, right, a lot of these are still just overall pretty, it's a solid list of guys, okay? For 50 players, they did a pretty decent job of getting a lot of players from every team, getting multiple different positions. We've got kickers, offensive line positions that usually don't get a ton of cards. They do. Now, the autographs there are in total like 36, we'll get to in a second. But in terms of the printing plates, I want to talk about here too, since it's a smaller section. Not every card actually has a printing plate available, which is really weird, but it's only missing like 6 plates are missing. There's in total like 44. And 15 of them were unautographed, and then 29 of them were autographed. So those are the checklists for it. Again, overall, it's a really solid checklist, especially compared to the USFL one last year. The USFL one set last year had, technically, you could argue like 27 players or like 28 if you counted like the Stallions as a certain player, but in all honesty, it was like a 25 card checklist that had like a season retrospect of a couple guys. Much better set this time. Now, as for your autographs, you have autographs, dual, triple, quad, and even an 8 autograph card. Now, the autographs, you have a lot of big names. A couple of the ones that are missing, mainly Jake Bates is a big one that is missing, one that you would love to see. And then there's a few other guys you could argue, but again, for what it is, it's a really solid checklist, especially compared to last year. There's really nobody that's like super weak here. Everybody is, a solid spring football UFL player. Now, the duels and triples are where you get a little bit questionable in some of the choices, right? Like PETA having 2 separate duels with different Michigan Panthers, with neither of them being a linebacker. And yes, edge rusher, I get it, but really weird. A couple other choices that aren't, like you've got 2 separate Houston Roughnecks multi-auto cards, right? You have the duel with Thompson and Hall, then you have a trio with the same 2 plus Genesee. It's weird. Now, there's a couple that are really good, right? The EJ Perry, Teamu Perez, really solid triple. Is that the best 3 you could have done? I wouldn't say so, especially when you have a duel that's Perez and Cookus, and I think a lot of people would rather have that duel in all honesty. If you're going to do a triple with Perez, Teamu, you should have tried to get some other quarterback, and I know it's all about, who you have, but that's a weird one in my opinion. The tight end triple, really good. Sternberg, Canella, Latimer is a great one. And then you have a couple other ones. The quad is a really cool one. Davin Bellamy, kind of cool. Vontae Diggs, Breland Speaks. It's a really sick quad right there. And the 8 having 1 autograph of each player is insanely cool. So now that we're done with the checklist, let's get on to the actual box price and all that. So for most people, you're going to buy a box. A box is $72. You save like $3 if you're, buy a box instead of buying the packs. And a case, which is 10 boxes, you can have for $700. So again, you save like $20 there. Now, in each box, you are expected to get at least 2 autographs and 3 numbered cards, with the numbered cards being the exclusives out of 100, high gloss out of 10, or 101 black parallels. And the autographs are either going to be the 2 unnumbered ones, or you might get one of the dual, which are out of 25, triples are out of 10, and the 1 quad is out of 5. Now, this set did have achievements, and I say did because now it only has 2 of them, at least at the time I'm recording this video. It had one where if you got an entire gold set, which you got 1 per pack, you would be able to get a printing plate. Those are all been achieved. So the golds are worthless now. The whites, if you get a full white set, which is, the odds are 1 and 2 packs, but it seems more generous than 1 and 2 packs. So I get one of the autograph printing plates, and if you get every single one of the base autos, the 36, you get the octo autograph. That's why you can't pull it from a box. But overall. Now, as for the overall math, right? Again, math. First and foremost, just like last time, there's the big asterisk of it's very easy that these numbers are all actually inflated, in a sense that there's less than 1850 boxes. From the boxes I've opened and that I've talked to other people who have opened, it seems that a lot of boxes give you extra. Whether that be an extra autograph, an extra 1 or 2. I mean, I've had somebody who pulled like 5 numbered cards from one box. So the odds for something like that are definitely, could be a lot better, okay? But overall, this is a very short printed set. If you compare this to the USFL set last year, you'll see this is insanely short printed compared to these other ones. To the point where you have the blues and reds, which you get the blues from getting 10 base cards, and then you get the reds from getting 5 blues. Those are how you make the base cards actually worth something. You can tell that those are definitely, not the most common of cards. The reds are probably, like, my estimated print run is about, like, 50 to 60-ish. But overall, right, you're talking about some really crazy numbers here. Because, again, if you do the math using all this stuff, right, your total numbered parallels is 5,550. Your total autographs, judging by box average, is 3,700. Once you do the math, eliminating the multis, your base autos is about 3,420. And that averages out to 95 per autograph. Now, again, this is all based on every autograph being the same print run, and also that every box has 2 autographs, which I said some have more. Now, some might have less, but I haven't seen that yet. So, overall, if you're just doing it by blanket math, there's 1,850 boxes. That's it. And then total cases, the math is wrong there. It is obviously, 185 cases. That was a misinput, but overall, like I said, this is a really, really short printed set. So, 185 cases is insanely small. And then, 1,850 boxes is also incredibly small. So this is a set that very much is going to be one that, if it was physical, would be insanely hard to get. But because it's digital, only so many people are going to get it. And that leads to my final rating for the set. This was a tough one. I reluctantly gave it an 8 out of 10. In hindsight, I kind of wish I put the USFL set at like a 6.5 out of 10 instead of a 7, and that I would have put this at a 7.5, but this is clearly a step up from the USFL set in many ways. But it's also actually a step back in a few ways. Now, the asterisks are ones that I had last year. Same issues from the USFL set. Sticker autographs, not a single on-card autograph. Both top sets we had, the AF and XL, were on-card, not a single one. No stats on the back. Really aggravating. You're having cards come out not like a month, months plural, after the season ends, and you don't have stats even for last year's USFL and XL seasons. That's inexcusable. That's a major con. Pros, again, I usually like the base upper deck design, solid. Affordable. When you compare it to the MSRP of the USFL box sets, the USFL box sets MSRP'd at like $25 a box. So 3 of those versus 1 of these, I mean, come on, you get 2 autographs guaranteed and 3 numbered cards versus getting at least 6 hits, but most of them are probably going to be numbered cards. And the short printed set. I like when a set is short printed. It makes any card worth something or just special, so I do like that. Now, other pros, you get 5 total hits per box if you count the numbered cards. That's really good. You gotta love having a baseline that, hey, you're getting this. Especially because the USFL box set kind of fumbled the bag on naming that. 1-on-1s and plates. Big issue with the USFL set, there was no chase card. There are chase cards here. You have the achievement chase cards, and you have actual chase cards to pull. The multi-autos, the 1-on-1s, love to see it. Exclusives and high gloss parallels. This is what we missed in the USFL set. The blanket, short-printed red and blues were not nearly as good as having your staple of the hobby, exclusives and high-gloss parallels. Multi-autos. Never seen it in spring football. You can go to any set. We've never seen multi-auto cards in spring football. Even though they're stickers, and on the cons we have some really weird choices. Never seen it before. Overall, a positive. The 50-card base set, improving the size by basically double. Again, the season retrospectives are weird. By double, I did like them, but I'd rather have a 50-card base set. And this is more of a traditional style. It is an actual box you open packs for. Multiple hits. It's not just, a box set. That's just kind of weird. Then other cons. The blue and red parallels. I really don't like what they did with them. I'm going to be honest. Am I glad you gave the base cards some meaning? Yes. But I would have rather just had the base cards been available for you to get. I really would have. Having to get 10 base cards of a player means you're going to have to essentially get a case to get a blue of each player. You get over a set per box, okay? You get like a little over a set per box. So 10 boxes will give you, 10 blues, or give you a blue of each player. But having to get 60 base cards for to get both a red and blue is crazy. Because once you transfer the blues to a red, you lose the blues. So you need 60 total base cards to get a blue and a red of a player. So if you're trying to get the rainbow of your favorite player minus the 1-on-1s and plates, 60 base cards is a ton of work, and having to deal with other people and trading on EPAC is just a nightmare. So, massive L there. The achievements for the gold sets. Look, there was about like 2-3 people that if you go on EPAC right now, you can tell who they are, spent well over $1,000 in boxes. They opened a ton of boxes and they got a ton of plates. Like some of these guys got like well over 10, maybe even over 20 different plates, and they're basically holding them hostage. And it gets to a point where it's just insanely aggravating that they didn't have enough plates. They should have swapped the whites and the golds. There's still a ton of whites available. And again, yes, there were way more plates for that set, but the whites are a much harder set to do than the gold. The gold, you got one in every pack no matter what. The whites, you didn't. Yes, you got a white in every pack that didn't have a hit pretty much, but it's just nowhere near the golds. And so it's really aggravating that all of them are already gone to where now the golds are worthless. Massive L, terrible decision. And the digital release only. I've already talked to a couple people who said they're not getting boxes just because of that. Look, I get it, right? This is a way to kind of control the price of it. The USFL sets ended up going down in value to a point where at one point on David Adams you could buy them for like $9 a box, naturally plus shipping, but that's how I got my case. I got it from David Adams for like stupid cheap, like under $200, right? They don't want that to happen. But you made the set incredibly short printed. The odds of that happening were severely lowered because you made it so hard to get. The USFL set was like 4 times printed than this, if my math is correct from both times, judging by averages and all that. So we're talking about a very short printed set. So the idea that they decided to make this an exclusive online set, not a fan of it, and it was a big L. But overall, I give it an 8 out of 10 because it still improved vastly over the other one. And to me, I enjoy it a little bit more in a lot of ways than the top sets. Now, I say in a lot of ways and not fully because, again, the on-cards are better. It's just that, for me, I've always liked Upper Deck base designs more than tops. There's a few top designs that are great, but in the post-2010 era, I think Upper Deck usually beats them. Like, I think when I think of the base cards for this set and the USL set last year compared to the base cards for the XFL and AF set, I just give the Upper Deck the edge. The multi-autos and the one-on-ones, really love them. I really like having exclusives and high-gloss parallels instead of just blanket, hey, red parallel kind of thing. But it's not like this is a far better set than either of those two. And if I were to do a rating of those sets, I don't know for sure what I'd put, but all I can say is I did enjoy opening these, and I do want to get more. It's just, I'll talk about why I'm not getting more in like a couple days, but I just think that overall it's an 8 out of 10 set. It's a really solid set. If you are a huge fan of the UFL and do want trading cards, I would recommend getting a box set. It's not hard to make an account. The stuff is ready to ship. You're already going to pay for shipping if you were going to buy a box online anyway, so paying for shipping to get your cards to you isn't really a big deal. I haven't shipped anything to me yet because I want to do more trades and all that and get more stuff. But as I've talked about in other videos, I've already got my EJ Perry high gloss. I've got I got one Panthers autograph at the moment. Got a couple of blues and all that. So it is what it is. But overall, this has been ZomFox. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Happy Thanksgiving, a day early. This is coming out on Wednesday. And on Friday, I should be having a Black Friday inspired video where I'm talking about a lot of stuff that's available for UFL fans to purchase and be on the lookout for. So be on the lookout for that video. Again, we are less than 100 subscribers away from hitting 1,000 where we are doing a giveaway. We're getting close to December and getting close to the new year. Going to try and get as close to 1,000 as we can before 2025. And as always, guys, have a great night.